Let's look at some of the immense advantages of quizzing. I'm using Google Forms to do this. So I want to demonstrate to you the kinds of questions you can ask. So here's a question with just 2 alternative answers. That will build a high success rate. It might not be entirely accurate because there's a 50-50 chance of getting the right guess. So let's imagine you asked 50 questions which just had 2 possible answers, or true and false. Sure, there'd be a 50% chance that the students would get half marks, but you could then start thinking, well, half marks is my baseline. I'm going to look at what students know and don't know above those half marks. Now, it will be really easy if the students are not good readers to get your teaching assistant to read the question out and then the answers, and the student would just pick which one they thought was correct. So it could be done entirely orally with some assistance. You can use it to practice things like spelling, again with 2 alternatives. If you offer more than 2 alternatives, the skill is to make all answers plausible. This is called putting in a discriminator. In other words, common misconceptions. Only one is right, but the other 2 also sound correct. And so this gives you more information about what the students know and don't know. Now, with every question, you can offer an answer key. Let's click on what I've put in there. And so if there's an incorrect answer, I can then teach the student what I want them to know. This is another brilliant way of closing the gaps, giving them feedback which is going to help them improve. What will I do with the quiz? Well, I have to give it to my students multiple times, and you remember that I need to do that at increasingly spaced intervals. Over time, they get feedback on what is in their long-term memory. When you get the results of the quiz, you also get feedback on what the student or the class need to revisit because it's not yet learnt. Other question types include just a short answer text, and you can set that up as well to only accept one particular form of spelling, or you might simply want to test that they know the word and therefore put alternative spellings in, so you would allow spelling mistakes. Now, it's not just knowledge recall you can use the quizzes for, you can also do it for application and understanding, such as this punctuation question. Now, I've only included 7 questions here in order to demonstrate the kinds of question types that you can put in, but how long would it take a TA with a student to do 50 true-false questions on stuff that they've learned over the last month? Or some from last week, some from the month before, and some from the month before that. Again, you would adapt this to the learners in front of you and what they can cope with, but your principle should be, I'm going to ask as many questions as I can because each bit of retrieval will build long-term memory. Now, you'll notice that I've got 59 responses to this quiz that I've done with people at different times, and this gives me fantastic insights. So I've got a sense of the average score that pupils are getting in my class, which is 3.15 out of 7. So next time we do this quiz, I'm looking to see those go up. If they don't go up, then I've probably done the quiz at the wrong spaced interval. That gives me great feedback on how to structure my testing. I've got my worst ranking questions, so this tells me which bits of knowledge I've got to go back to. I can see what the most popular misconception is. I'm going to ignore that one because very few got that wrong, and I'm going to re-examine this content, explore why the kids didn't really understand that first time round. This will help me improve the knowledge of my students now, but it will also help me use this feedback to alter the curriculum for when I teach this next year or next term to another student or another group. Here again, I've got lots of students getting the right answer, but the most common misconception is this one. I'm probably not going to worry about these too much, but this one I'm going to address in class, and again, in my curriculum, I might also include something to improve this score. They might get a few more of these to practice, for example. This question was on something I hadn't yet taught the students. In fact, this was a pre-test. That's really useful. You can use your quizzes to test students on stuff that you're going to teach. Then you will have a baseline score, which might be very low, so you're going to have to explain that to the kids. I'm expecting you to score 0 on this because I haven't taught you yet. Now, I look at your actual scores, and then when we do the quiz again after a period of teaching, you've got a measure of improvement. Fantastic feedback to the student, but also great feedback to you about the impact of your curriculum, and the results will tell you what you need to improve next time and what you need to go back to for the current students in front of you over time.